absolute favorite things to do in the kitchen is to take something that traditionally uses a lot of heavy cream and to recreate it into a dairy-free version that leaves nothing to be desired. And that's what I've done with this mushroom sauce recipe. It's absolutely delicious atop a steak or chicken breast, but it also works really great as a pasta sauce. It has a wonderful creamy texture, a lot of mushroom flavor, and it also happens to be completely vegan, but you would never know. And if you're new here, I'm Maggie, this is No Frills Kitchen, where I teach you how to cook with confidence with nothing fancy required.
First off, you need to prep your ingredients. There aren't a lot here, so it won't take long. First, simply peel and finely mince a shallot. Then mince a bit of garlic. I like using a garlic press, and then I also like to chop up the residual left behind. Finally, pick and finely chop some thyme leaves. And onto the main event. Remove the stems and thinly slice some brown mushrooms. Keep note that it may seem like the recipe linked in the description calls for a lot of mushrooms, but they shrink considerably once they're cooked. Speaking of, it's time to start cooking now. As with virtually anything involving mushrooms, like my mushroom bucatini recipe for instance, the first step of this recipe involves browning them. This develops the flavor of the dish, and it's definitely not something to cut corners on. Because I finished this sauce to give it its creamy texture with tahini, I also recommend browning the mushrooms in a bit of toasted sesame oil for a rounded flavor. So add some sesame oil to a large skillet along with some olive oil and set it over medium-high heat. Once shimmering, add your sliced mushrooms and a generous pinch of salt. Cook these, stirring every so often until they've released all of their moisture, have reduced significantly in size, and are deeply browned. This will take about 10 to 15 minutes. This step is super important, so I urge you to be patient and ensure that the mushrooms are properly browned in order to get the best tasting sauce at the end. It's definitely worth the time. Once your mushrooms have reached this stage, add in a finely minced shallot. Cook this for just a couple of minutes, only until it's softened. Then add in your minced garlic and your fresh thyme. Cook this just until fragrant, only about 30 seconds or so. Next, sprinkle over a bit of flour. This is used to thicken the sauce. Cook the flour with the mushrooms for a few minutes. You want to cook off the raw flavor. Then deglaze with a bit of dry white wine. This adds a touch of acidity and sweetness to the finished sauce. Allow the strong alcoholic smell to cook off the wine and for it to reduce significantly. This should only take about 2 minutes. Then add some vegetable stock. Let the sauce come up to a simmer and then taste to adjust for seasoning. Off heat, swirl in some tahini to add a luscious creamy texture and a lovely nutty flavor. Serve the sauce right away. It will be great topped on just about anything. And if you liked this recipe, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my next videos. Enjoy!